trip around the sun, the end of what had just begun. We hit some bumps, but sure had fun. We want to thank you for the ride.
When I think about that last show, you see guys having the time of their lives. I mean, that show was so fun and such a culmination of everything that we had been doing together. It was a blast. And I said that night before one of our songs that people would see us again the next year. And I really believed that. I thought that we were taking a short break. Within a year, we would be back on stage. And then it became apparent not long after that show that that was not true. And here we are 9 years later. Rocket Club getting back together, I would say, was a multi-year process. We needed space. We all went and did our respective things. And then Joel and I, around 2019, 2020, started writing and recording some music together.
My connection with Don artistically was something that I really missed. I think we both really missed, because we have a way of completing each other's work, being able to throw goofy things out there that make no sense, but suddenly when you get it back from someone, it makes sense. And that's a rare connection to have with people, and it's a rare connection to have musically, artistically. So it was really rewarding to start that up again.
You know, we all went our separate ways when we shut down about, almost 9 years ago. But inside me, there was still this bubbling need to create. And I just started writing. And then they sat on a pile, dormant, until, Don was ready to start. And then one day he said, send me some stuff. I wrote this piece of music called Chasing the Sun, and it had an opening lick that ultimately became the melody for Easy.
We didn't have Rocket Club dreams. We never even spoke about it. We were just making music and enjoying that, and wrote probably 20 different songs.
During the course of that recording and writing process, there were more interactions with the guys. We brought them in to play on Easy. It was just sort of a snowball effect. And before you know it, we were really starting to talk seriously about it'd be kind of fun to get the whole band back together and maybe do this as Rocket Club.
Getting back was, an emotional thing and a wonderful thing, because you sing those songs and it feels like the old days. I've always said I get to sing these songs. I get to be in this band, because I think those guys, every one of the guys in this band, every one of them, are great songwriters. I mean, Joel, who also produced the album, Brian, he creates these riffs out of nowhere, just fantastic riffs. Matt's good at everything. Don, the lyricist, my goodness, and of course, he's a great singer. And we've added this great drummer, his name's Walter Powell, fantastic for all the live shows, just a great timekeeper, a great guy to drive the band. So I've spent a lot of time celebrating it and enjoying it and soaking it in. I think there's a part that maybe you don't even realize, where you have to learn that you can depend on everybody again. That Brian's got his guitar part, that Don's got his piano part, that I'm going to remember the right lyrics and sing it the right way. So rehearsal is immensely important for remembering the songs and knowing how to play the songs, but also for, once again, learning to depend on your teammates.
That feeling of how excited and fun it was to sing with these guys and to play music with these guys again came right on back, and it reignited that fire to do this music again. Because there's such a great catalog of songs that I'm involved in, that I'm not involved in, that I really wanted a chance to play and put my personality into. What I get out of the rehearsal stage is that getting reps in again, where you've only maybe known the song is the recording, and you've spent all this time on the recording, and that's what your head is in. That's what you think it's supposed to be. However, when you start rehearsing these things, the songs take on a life of their own. They start to live and breathe more, and you realize that maybe what you did on the recording is not appropriate for the live thing, so you have this whole new experience. The song is reborn, and it's almost always been better when we've had a chance to play it and rehearse it and shed it.
I can't wait to play all these shows. Every place that we're playing has a memory for me, but the Varsity, playing that show will feel like such a a rebirth.
What blew us away right from the moment we hit the stage, they all jumped to their feet, and it's crazy they never sat down for 90 minutes. I also was blown away, like the guys were, that they embraced all the new music. I felt so welcome and in coming back to the stage. It really fills your heart like you can't believe.
This is called Clear.
Obviously, I love the entire new record. I could give you something about each song that means something to me. I can give you a moment from recording each song that means something to me. But the song that that I know from the new record, the song that I know is going to probably make me cry, is going to be Clear. That song was like, we all made mistakes. I understand that, but we can also keep moving forward, you know? So I'm looking forward to playing that one live and looking at people's faces to watch them experience it the way I do.
The end of Rocket Club for me was very, very painful. As one of the primary songwriters, it represented the death of a catalog that meant everything to me. And like any death, it takes a while to grieve. And I was going through a grief process for sure. And all the stages, anger and denial and resentment and you name it. Meanwhile, Brian's always writing. Brian would send me piles. And there was one in particular, he had this song on the demo, it was called After Class. And it was this and I just loved the guitar riff so much, and I just thought, I gotta write something to that. And it's fitting that that was kind of the first thing that really hooked me, because that became the song Clear.
My contribution to Rocket Club is I sit with a guitar and I have stuff just flow out of me, and if it's something interesting, I write it out. I kind of create a roadmap. Don has always been a close, dear friend, but also, you know, my favorite collaborator. He knows what to do with music I write, knows how to bring it to life with his incredible storytelling. Joel and Matt Kirkwall both are great producers and just truly great music minds. They can take a song idea and what I thought was really cool and just turn it into something even more amazing.
In the lyrics of Clear, which is a song that took me really a couple years to finish, you can sort of hear my emotional journey, you know, not just getting the clarity about Rocket Club and music, but I had a lot of other things going on. I lost my mother during that time. My own kids were growing up and leaving home. It was a time of huge life transitions, and that all shows up in the song Clear.
Back to the Better is an interesting song. It's a song that I kind of came up with the concept for, and it was when Don and I were throwing ideas about it. It was one of these songs that people sit down and say, I wrote that song in 5 minutes. And people who don't know about the process, they'll say, well, why don't you just do that? Why don't you write 20 songs a day? We're going to do one here. It's about fucking it up and then trying to fix it after you're done. Well, I thought I could, and the next day I couldn't. Well, it takes a lifetime to write something like that in 5 minutes, at least the first idea through it. And I sent it to Don, and he had the exact response that I had, was that this is either the greatest song or the stupidest song that's ever been attempted to be sung and played. That's probably still a fair accounting of that one. But it captured at least how things have gone in my life, and that, things can get pretty great, and they can also get pretty not great and pretty bad. And if you can just try to work through the bad times and maybe not quite get so high through the good times, that things will level out. And it was therapy for me. It's just how I see the world in different ways. And it really came together in a great way at the end of the day.
The one and only, ladies and gentlemen, the one and only Joel Sales.
Obviously, at all these new shows, we want to highlight the new record. We're proud of it, and we're hoping people are excited to hear it. But there are some songs that never got a real chance to live that I'm so glad we're bringing back from the old records. Songs that we never got to play live, like the song Otherwise, from the Lucky record. I started using that as the outro on the Power Trip Morning Show a couple of years ago. It's a fantastic song, and there are so many songs specifically from that record that never got a chance to live. We did one show and then we were gone, and if you don't support a record, it never gets a chance to live. That was using Otherwise as the outro on the radio show was my opportunity to shine a light on a song that I really think is special.
This is a song called Easy.
Probably the most remarkable thing is, and mind-boggling, is the love and acceptance and excitement that we're doing this again. None of us take that for granted. And the first 4 theater shows have been so high energy and so filled with reciprocal love. It's almost hard to put words into what that feels like. So I just humbled, I guess.
Time to throw down, time to join hands, time to get together with the boys in the band.
That spirit of playing live, and you've only got one shot at it, is really exciting. It's a balancing act, and sometimes you get it, sometimes you don't, but either way, it's true every time. It's always honest, and I appreciate that on stage, because that is definitely not my life in the studio.
A song that I sing from the new record that I love for multiple reasons is the title track, Come On Home.
Come On Home is, for me, is my favorite song on the CD. It happened at a time when my oldest finally wasn't coming back from college, and there's for any parent out there, there's that feeling when you know they're not coming back. It's emotional.
Come On Home, the genesis of that song came, I've got a daughter on the East Coast and I've got a daughter on the West Coast. And so these days I spend a lot of time going back and forth to airports, picking up my kids, dropping them off, a lot of goodbyes. And one night I was taking my daughter back to the airport. She was going back to Boston. And I had this piece of music that Brian had written that was the music for Come On Home. And it just hit me like, I can't believe that this isn't her all the time home anymore. Her home is in Boston. But this idea of whenever you get lost, which again, to me is not lost as in you need a map, but lost in your journey, lost on who you are and what you're trying to do. Come on home. That this is, everyone has their forever home, their spiritual home, kind of the place that they come from, and so that came through in the song Come On Home, which to me really is the perfect representation of everything Rocket Club's been through in this whole record, that this is us returning to our home. And we've said before, whenever we get lost, we found the music brings us home. And I think Come On Home is the perfect title for this record and our own journey.
Thank you, everybody.